Welcome to a double feature of Coach's Corner. Let's check in with Jacob, see what he thought of the game last week. Did you like the performance from the boys? Hey, Jacob? No, it's no good, eh? No. Was it better than before, though? Hey? Yes. Okay. Well, we're making progress then. Very good.
You have to pick up guys right away, especially a danger zone there.
Here's a nice ball out of the defense. It's actually quite a difficult ball to execute, but we actually managed to do it pretty well. The main problem here is what we do with the ball when we get in the middle of the field. You notice that here Rob takes 3 touches. If instead of taking 3 touches, Rob gives it to Kubi on his second touch, notice that the defender's already committed to him at the second touch, so he can still send it over to Kubi. Kubi will be unmarked. But Kubi will be able to take it in his stride. He won't have to slow down. He'll be able to receive the ball, and the defender's going in the wrong direction, so Kubi will be able to penetrate deep into the opponent's half. Instead of shooting from distance, he can get closer to shoot, or once another defender commits to him, maybe he can create another on-band break for someone else. This is one of those little things that we need to do better. You wouldn't think that taking 3 touches instead of 2 is such a big deal, but look at the huge effect that it has and how we drastically increase our chances of scoring with taking only 2 touches. Here we're suffering from something that I like to call tunnel vision ball watching. You'll notice here that the opposing player makes a diagonal run into the midfield area, but because Rob is focused on the ball and is not looking over his left shoulder, he doesn't see the player come in and thus doesn't mark him up. The important thing to take from this is that if you're not marking anybody, you need to be looking around, looking at where the players are, because it means that somebody's making a run somewhere that you're not tracking. Just wanted to show you here this terrific example of a give and go opportunity. Notice here that Kubi waits for the defender to come and commit to him before giving the ball, and look at the huge change in direction that he has and the explosive power that he has when he's coming out. There's no way that that player is going to mark him. And the important thing also is that he's running into an area where there's no defenders. This is the kind of quick change in direction we need when doing give and goes. And you can see that it's clear here exactly what he's doing and exactly where he wants the ball. Unfortunately, in this case, we don't read it very well. This is another example of how not doing the simple things well is hurting us. Notice here that we do a good job of intercepting the ball, but because of a lack of concentration, we end up conceding an opportunity instead of getting one for ourselves. This is an example where we need better communication in the defense. Notice that both Benoit and Mitch here are both going for the ball carrier, and nobody's marking that guy who's going in behind. Now, it doesn't particularly matter which one goes for the ball and which one takes the player running in behind, but either way, it's Mitch's decision as to what he wants, and he needs to communicate exactly what he wants Benoit to do in this situation. It's also important that in addition to talking during the play, we talk after and before the play about what Mitch's preferences are. So if Mitch prefers that Benoit goes and takes the ball carrier and he takes the guy in behind, Mitch should tell Benoit that so that he knows exactly what he should do in a given situation. This is a nice break. How do we take good advantage of a 3-on-1 situation? In this situation, the defender's long leg actually blocks Rob's passing lane. So it's actually Vince that has the option to pass it to small Rob. So the decision to shoot is a good one, but from that distance, we should be going for accuracy and not power. Now let's hear Vince. This is a nice sequence where we managed to keep the ball very well. And notice here, what happens is we have the excellent off-the-ball running by Greg and Dave, who are always available for a pass. In addition to that, we're not afraid to go back to the goaltender, back to Joe, to the center back, and that allows us to keep the possession very effectively because we're always considering all of our options. The only thing we need to add to this patience is a killer ball out. This is a good example of quick thinking by Sandro and Ramel. As soon as Sandro catches that ball, he's looking to play it out, and Ramel is asking for that ball, which is perfect, because we've just taken one of the opponents out of the equation. So we should, if we're smart, be able to get an on-man break somewhere on the field now. You'll notice that as soon as Ramel receives that ball, he notices that the next defender is out of position, and that he can take the defender for pace down the line. And his interpretation of the situation is correct, because if you look here when we slow it down, he's actually past the defender that he's trying to beat. The problem is that he misses that last touch of the ball with his right foot. If he manages to get that touch and he brings the ball somewhere around the blue square, that defender is done. He's no way he's catching him. And if we ask Ramel to do this run around pylons in training, you do it 10 times out of 10. It's that extra bit of concentration and focus that you need in the games where it's a little bit harder. It's definitely something that we want to see more of though, because with this type of situation, we've almost gone past half the team with one single run. And if you look here carefully, if Ramel does get that touch and then does a little dinky pass into the middle for Greg, he's committed another defender to him, and Greg can go free on net and have a take his time and have a nice shot and really get a high quality scoring chance out of it. Here we're making things much more difficult than they need to be. The idea to play the ball short is a good one, but sending out a bouncing ball makes things very difficult. And on top of that, look at Benoit's angle. The ball's coming almost from behind him, which makes the skill very difficult to actually control that ball well while being under pressure. Okay, Sandro sees that Benoit is not that open, so he decides to throw a bouncing ball. However, that actually only makes things more difficult because even if Benoit would control that ball perfectly, look at how long it would take the ball to bounce to the ground. And by that time, he's under pressure already, and it's really too late. Benoit should be looking to take it short, but look at the blue area behind him. If he backs up into that area and then receives a ball on the ground, he has much more time to react to the pressure from the defender, much more time to make his decisions. And Alessandro won't be worried about the ball getting intercepted either because he'll be much further, again, away from the defenders. You'll notice here that we're playing a lot of ping pong, and it's totally unnecessary. The idea to play on the first touch is a good one, but instead of just booting the ball anywhere and playing ping pong all day, we need to put the ball into areas where we give ourselves a chance to win the ball. When the ball comes into our wing back, he actually has two options here. Both of our center mids are open, and we don't even need to necessarily aim for one or the other. If we just put the ball anywhere in this towards this blue area without too much speed on the ball, our players are going to be able to get there before the opponent players, and we're going to be able to have a good transition from that and make a good play. Here's another example of, again, booting the ball forward instead of playing a measured pass on the first touch. And again here, as long as we know our options beforehand, we're going to have time to be able to execute a ball that has the right weight on it into an area which is maybe not as accurate as we can normally do, but is accurate enough that we give ourselves a chance to actually go and win that ball and make a play out of it. Again here, a ball into the blue area, and Vincent will have an excellent chance of recovering that ball and even being in a good position to go and attack. The thing is that because we have more skill than any other team in the league, playing ping pong is not beneficial to us at all, and it only helps the other team to disrupt our play. Here we failed to capitalize on some good defensive work. As a striker here, you either got to continue that run back and get the ball, make sure you get there before the defender, or you got to shield and make sure the defender can't get around you, because we shouldn't be losing possession in this situation. This just highlights the importance of always knowing your options before you receive the ball. This way you're always ready to receive the ball no matter what. In this case, the wingback doesn't evaluate their options before receiving the ball, and because of that, they have to rush, and they don't have the time to make the proper decisions. You'll see here, though, that if you make up your mind before getting put under pressure as to what you're going to do, and to do that, you need to know what your options are before receiving the ball, then there are actually many options here for the wingback to use. Okay, for sure, there's Dave down the line, and although the pass back straight to Joe is not really on because of the striker, you could put it to Joe's right, and he could easily get to that, and if he needed to, clear it out, or also give it back to Ben again, who could then do 1-2 and then attack. You can also see here a bit later in the clip that actually Greg was available in the middle also, so you also have the square ball available. So there were definitely many options available, but we need to evaluate them before we get the ball, otherwise it just takes too long with the intense pressure that we were under.
You have to pick up guys right away.